Hey guys, we've got some really cool vintage finds today. Most of it's Japanese, but we also have some really rare US vintage guitars as well, so stick around and we'll go through it. All right, so let's dig in. First on the list is a 1966 Fender Mustang bass. And this is in the Olympic white, and I love the way that it's aged. You can see the finish checking. You can just see the general wear off of the bass itself. At one point, some individual did actually paint this black, and so it's been kept on the back of the bass for kind of the story of it. And they kind of just took it off the front. You know, it's one of those things, should you take all the black off and just bring it back down to the original finish? I think that would look really cool. The other cool thing with this bass, some really nice bird's eye maple on the neck itself. Something you don't really see on every neck. This was definitely an uncommon piece of wood, I think, for this model. You got that vintage Fender logo there, the old style bass tuners. Just a really nice bass in general. The pick guard and this plate right here are not original, but the electronics and pickups are. We pulled everything. And actually, I already traded this bass, but I told the customer, I said, hey, if I trade this bass to you, you gotta let me shoot it. So he graciously brought this by this morning. And I did want to show it. It does also have the original case. This is pretty cool, back from the 60s. It's actually in good shape, all things considered. Has the little Fender strap there. Duct tape's not original, obviously. My friend that we traded this with, he's downstairs having coffee right now, so we're gonna pack this up and let him know he can leave. All right, next guitar is a Mosrite Firstman. And this is kind of originally more in a white color, but it's sort of yellowed over time. Mosrite's an interesting company because they were originally a US company only, but they did eventually move production over to Japan, and a lot of the Japanese models are kind of what people know Mosrite for. But this one is just a nice, clean example of it. Like I said, the finish is definitely aged to more of a yellow. This one's been restored. When we first got this, the bridge, actually, you might have seen this on our palette video, this bridge was all kind of destroyed, and we had a local guy here that actually put this back together, so it's working and everything is how it should be. I just want to get your impressions. That's a Mosrite Ventures, old Japanese guitar. Have you played these before?
No, never have. It's got good action. It's got a good quality sound. Has a Ventures sound. It rocks.
Cool. All right, so we're going to get into some US vintage here. This is a Gibson Hummingbird. It's a 1974. It's got a solid Sitka spruce top and mahogany back and sides. Definitely a nice guitar. This one has a little bit of finish clouding, which is common of these guitars, but it does have a nice big low end sound to it. I mean, that's why a lot of people like these old vintage Gibsons. Especially the acoustics. It's just a nice classic dreadnought. Definitely continue to go up in collectability. Now to give a counterpart to that, let's look at, this is a Thompson Dove. So obviously this is copying the Gibson Dove. This one I believe is a late 70s model, but it's got actually a really nice bridge. I like the way they did the ornate bridge with the inlays here. It's got a bone saddle here as well. Really beautiful looking guitar, plus on the back here I like what they did with the headstock. They have sort of like a nice little triangular shape up to the black on the back of the headstock. Yeah, for what this is, it's a really nice copy of a Dove. And I actually really like the way they did the pick guard on this. I think they did a really nice job. Actually, the unusual thing about this guitar is I've looked up this model pretty much everywhere, and this is the only example I see that has this really nice bridge piece to it. So definitely more of an unusual one. But a really nice find if you're looking for a good Dove copy. All right, if you've seen any of our previous videos, you probably are familiar. We love Maseru Kono classical guitars. And why do we love them? They're super hard to find. Kono, who lived in Japan, actually studied with a man named Fernandez in Spain, learned all his techniques, but that was later on in his career. This is actually from 1959, so this is one of his way earlier models. He always used really nice solid woods. I believe, to me, this looks to be perhaps a Brazilian rosewood on the back and sides. Nice playwear on the neck. For me, I kind of prefer when necks have worn in a little bit. But it's just a really comfortable, it's a 650 millimeter scale length, so it's a little bit shorter for guys that know classical guitars. Kono's classicals are considered, in my opinion, to be the best of Japanese classicals, and for a good reason. Here's a guitar that you may have never realized that this company made. So you'll see this is a Tama, which everybody knows Tama for drums, but very few people know that Tama actually made some really nice guitars in Japan. So from the years, I think of 1970 to 76, they had their own acoustic line. This is sort of like a Martin copy of like a D41, D45 style. It's really well built. So they used a really nice Brazilian rosewood veneer. I know when people hear the word veneer, they get a little scared, but the difference between the way that we look at veneer now, as opposed to how they built them in Japan, especially in the vintage models, was they used like a nice high quality resin between the woods. And really what they were shooting for was giving a nice resonance with the body while still giving the ability for the wood not to crack as easily. So yeah, don't let the word veneer scare you away when you see these things, because really it was actually considered a nice feature that they would do on these guitars. These are becoming more and more collectible as people recognize how nice they are, and they're really uncommon. You don't see many in the market. All right, last one, but definitely not least, is this Bacon Belmont. You probably have not heard of a brand named Bacon, but they were actually bought up by Gretsch in the 1930s. And so this was kind of considered, at the time when they made this, I think this is a 1955 model. And this was considered sort of like a more budget-friendly version to some of their Gretsch guitars they had out at the time, sort of like the Gretsch Atkins style guitars. But it's actually a really nicely built guitar. It's got a nice feel to it, and you can see it's been through the ringer a little bit. When we got this guitar, we've been working on this for probably like a year now. It's crazy. When we first got this guitar, someone had routed out a new pickup there, so there's just a big hole in the body, which we have fixed. We have our local luthier that put a wood block in there and finished it really nicely. We also had to restore the electronics. The electronics were just gutted and just kind of a total mess, so we had our electronics guy go through it. The frets were in rough shape, so we refretted it. There's probably nothing on this guitar we didn't touch, but I love that it has sort of a story when you look at it. It's a really nice player's grade, vintage US hollow body, and definitely is up there with some of the best of them. All right, guys, that's it for today's video. If you like this kind of content, go ahead and like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.